First video in a long time. I'm on vacation. I'm in South Carolina. With Shane!
What's up?
My buddy Shane. Also, Mike. They're gonna be taking me around. We are probably going to eat in excess. And that's what we're gonna check out in this video.
Some southern hospitality.
Hell yeah. So on we went into Charleston for our first stop, Calis Hot Little Biscuit. This spot, of course, very famous for their biscuits and biscuit sandwiches.
All right, so I'm gonna try yours. So sorry, yours was what? There's the sausage, egg,
Pimento cheese.
and pimento cheese. Well, I've never had pimento cheese.
You never had pimento, you're gonna love this.
That was really good.
Yeah, it's just mayonnaise. Super unhealthy for you.
Super unhealthy. All the good things are super unhealthy for you. All right, now we're gonna get this
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
goat cheese with this blackberry jam. I got creamy goat cheese, and then the sweetness, the jam is really great.
Full from our biscuit sandwiches, it was time for a drink. We headed over to Palmetto Brewing, a brick building with a nice tasting room out back and a big selection of beers to choose from. I went with a flight so I could try a few different styles. The salted lime lager was underwhelming, but a juicy IPA and a sweet Bock that followed were great. But my favorite, by far, was the malty amber ale. So much so, I ended up getting a full pour. Then, it was time for our next meal.
So of course, down south, gotta get some barbecue.
Hi.
No, we also hail the king.
Hail the king. Lewis's Barbecue. This is one of the top barbecue spots that I kept finding when looking it up. And when I said it to Shane and Mike, they were like, oh yeah, definitely.
While who's the top barbecue in Charleston is debatable, Lewis's was on every list I checked. Their meats and sides all come highly recommended, so we got ourselves a big spread of them. Slow cooked, fatty, or lean brisket that just melts in your mouth, along with juicy pulled pork with an immensely flavorful rub. I even had my first taste of southern collard greens, which I thought was a nice tart green to match the juiciness of the meats, actually. Then, of course, I never turn away a nice crispy oven-baked mac and cheese. But back to the meat. The hot guts sausage has a great snap on the casing and a good delayed spice kick. It can sneak up on you.
Oh, there we go. There's the spice.
But the biggest surprise, in all honesty, was the turkey breast, sliced and then dunked in its own juices before being served. Seriously, everything at this place was fantastic, and it was one of the highlights of my trip. As I said in the moment,
I mean, when you can cut the meat with the side of your plastic fork,
Yeah.
that's tender.
Day 2, or as it would come to be known as, drinking day. We started by heading up to North Charleston for a recommendation Mike was adamant I try.
So first stop on day 2 is Dashi. This is a place that Mike heavily recommended to me, Asian Mexican fusion food. Let's go. Nice crunchy bit of egg. Oh man, I'm gonna need a napkin, something bad.
Got it right there.
Oh hell yeah. Pork belly banh mi wrap.
We haven't had the bun yet.
Oh, I'll get to it. Nice crispy pork belly.
I always forget how big everything is here.
From there, we jumped over to Common House Aleworks. Oh, and don't worry, Shane and I did all the drinking. Mike doesn't like beer, so he's actually a great designated driver. That being said, I actually ended up enjoying all the Common House beers that I tried. They had a great solid German-style lager. Their Wonders Way Double IPA was my favorite, and extremely crushable despite being a strong 9.4%. But I also really loved their Red Ale and Oatmeal Stout.
This is gonna be a drunk day.
Little did I realize how accurate that statement would be. We then spent some time exploring the Park Circle area of North Charleston. We went into a few cool shops, including a spot called Game Night, a shop where you pay for time and get to play with a long list of available board games. However, by happenstance, we stumbled across a place called the Brew Cellar, a tiny spot that sold canned craft beer and had a few fun games as well as a tiny sitting area outside. They also had a few beers on tap. I ended up trying a double IPA called Meteor Sword, a big citrus bomb that was so delicious, I was practically chugging it. It wasn't until I was almost done that I realized it was a 10% beer. But I couldn't leave until I tried some Viking Blood Mead, a honey mead from Denmark, which was great to sip on despite its high sweetness. From there, we had a brief meetup with Mike's family before we all went out to dinner. And, well, I just met your parents, Mike.
Yeah.
And your dad fed me bourbon and beer, so... Jalisco is a Mexican restaurant located on James Island, south of Charleston. And once inside, I was immediately plied with margaritas. Yes, margaritas, as in plural. And I'll be damned if they weren't great. But my meal was fantastic. Braised beef and pork with some pickled onions, cheese, and beans, all held together in a crispy tortilla. A glistening meal that complemented those margaritas and filled me right up. Day 3. And after a very late wake up, we hit the road and headed across the bridge to Mount Pleasant. There, we stopped in for a Sunday brunch at Grace and Grit. All right, so this was pimento.
Yep.
This was, what was it, Brussels and...
Brussels and pesto.
That was the peach one?
Yes. And then blueberry.
And blueberry. Oh, yeah. The pimento cheese one. All right, that's really good. That's real nice. That's fantastic.
Brussels sprouts and pesto.
Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts and pesto is great. Peach one. That's not too sweet. Blueberry one looks real sweet.
I never would have thought pesto instead of grits.
Again, I would say this is sweeter than the peach one, but it's not super sweet.
It's not, no, none of these are super sweet, but these are...
You've awoken something I did not know about me, Mike, which is apparently I like grits. Fried chicken and waffles. I'm gonna just put syrup on all of this.
I just put it everywhere.
On the chicken, on the waffle. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get everything on one bite. So I got my chicken, I got my waffle, and I got my nice candied pecans. It's so good. Thick piece of chicken too. The unsung hero of this though are these pecans. So just me and Shane here, because Mike can't have seafood. And, or he'll die. Yeah. So this is the Darling Oyster Bar, heavily recommended by Mike's dad.
Oh, that's nice. It's very light.
It's very light.
Yeah, it's a very light crab cake. I'm actually really surprised how light it is. I was not expecting that. It's really good though.
On it too.
Yeah, so these oysters are from a bit all over. We have a couple local ones here, but we also got some from Virginia and Maryland, even one from Massachusetts. So the fun thing about something like this, where you can get these oysters from the different area, where you can basically sit here and compare and contrast them. You know, what's brinier, saltier, meatier, more mild, and then you find your preference.
Yeah. I want a salty clam. Oh, that's awful.
They're still warm from the oven. Simple as it gets. Oyster, breader. Take two. Simple, just oysters, butter, breadcrumbs. Absolutely delicious.
All right, that's the end of this video. I want to give a special thanks to Shane and Mike for putting me up, taking me around here in the greater Charleston area of South Carolina. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, leave a comment, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, and I will see you in the next video.